President, please be seated. The court is back in session and the floor is given to the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor to resume his line of questioning to this witness.
Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Witness, I'd like to turn now to a few questions about the assignment of workers to the 1st January dam. In your OCIJ statement E3/5294 at Khmer 003488834, English 003601117, French 003678010, you gave the following testimony, quote, question, were people from your district sent to participate in the construction of the 1 January dam? Answer, yes, they were. Every district was requested to send its people there. End of quote. Madam Witness, can you tell us in total how many workers from Chamkarlu district were sent to work at the 1st January dam?
Answer. I do not know about workers sent to the 1st January dam work sites. And I do not know either how many people were selected from those various cooperatives and sent to the dam site. I was not holding the list. The secretary of the district held that list of people.
You have stated in your OCIJ interview, though, that one of your responsibilities in Chamkarlu district was overseeing workers who were constructing the dams. Is that correct, Madam Witness?
Witness, I have already given my response. President, International Deputy Co-Prosecutor, please rephrase your question, because I heard a witness say that she already gave the statement to you.
Let me refer you specifically to what you said. Again, this is your OCIJ interview, E3/5294. The reference is at Khmer 003488830, English 003601113, and French 003678006. You were discussing your responsibilities and you said, quote, as for me, I only led the cooperative to build dams and canals, end of quote. So let me ask you again, is it not true that part of your responsibilities in Chamkarlu was leading people in relation to building dams and canals?
Answer. I already told the court that I did not know about the numbers of people in the dam sites. I selected and chose people from cooperatives, and I did not know how many people at the dam site because I was not the one who held the list.
Madam Witness, do you know who it was who supervised the workers from Chamkarlu district who were sent to work at the first January dam?
Answer. Each Sangat had its own chief, and the chief would bring people to the dam sites. And I do not know the names of those Sangat chiefs. Some of them passed away, and some may have survived the period, but they perhaps are living in a different distance, in a far distance from my place.
Thank you. Also in your interview, E3-5294, at Khmer 00348-835, English 00360-117, French 00367-811. You gave the following testimony about the people who were sent from your district to the first January dam. Question: did any of your people sent to construct the dam disappear? Answer: yes, they did. And not only the 17 April people disappeared, but also the base people. End of quote. How did you become aware, Madam Witness, that people from your district, Chamkarlu, who had been sent to work at the first January dam, had disappeared? How did you become aware of that?
Answer. As for disappearance, what I knew when I was at the first January dam site, people were taken away for study sessions. That is what I knew at that time.
How is it that you knew that people were taken away for study sessions?
Answer. Each Sangat chiefs told me certain people were taken away for study session, but I did not know where they were sent to the study sessions.
And how did you know, you said in your interview that it was both 17 April people and base people who disappeared. How did you know that both 17 April and base people from your district had disappeared?
Answer. I knew this from Sangat chiefs. They told me. I was told that certain people were taken away for study session and for work.
Were there any people whose relatives had gone to work at the first January dam who came to tell you that that their relatives had not returned from the work site and to try to find out what had happened to you, what had happened to them, excuse me.
Answer: I do not know because no one comes to ask me about the disappearance. And if one came to ask me about their relatives, I would tell them that they were taken for study session, as I was told by the Songkat chiefs.
I want to now ask you some questions about your visits to the first January Dam worksite. First of all, can you tell us how many times you went to visit the first January Dam?
I went to the first January dam site many times, but I did not know about the figures or numbers of workers.
What was the reason that you went to the first January Dam site many times?
Answer: the reason I went to the work site many times because my husband was there working, and on some occasion my colleagues, the cadres working with me, told me and wanted me to go and see the work there.
When you would visit the first January Dam site, how long would you normally stay when you went there?
Answer: sometime I would stay there for 2 nights. It depended. Sometime I would stay there for a few days, and sometime I would return back to my place right away. I do not remember when I was there.
When you would stay there for a couple of nights or days, where would you stay at nighttime? Where did you sleep?
Answer: there was a camp at that place, the camp for female cadres, and the cadres could go and share the sleeping quarter with our workers. And wherever the workers were, I could be there with them.
Could you describe for us what the sleeping quarters were like that you stayed at on the occasions where you stayed there overnight?
Answer: the sleeping quarters for workers at the site had a proper living condition, their sleeping condition, their eating conditions were proper.
Can you be a little more specific? What do you mean by proper? What did you sleep on at the quarters that you stayed in?
ចាខ្ញុំ
Answer. I wanted to say that I could live my life as other workers did, and workers could have decent food and meal. Their livelihood was fine. ANCA supported the workers, provided advice and food to workers, so they had decent food to eat.
Let me ask you again, when you slept overnight in these quarters, did you have a blanket or something to sleep on, or did you sleep on the ground?
Answer. There were halls for workers who were working at the work site. Workers were not allowed to sleep on the ground.
If they didn't sleep on the ground, Madam Witness, what did they sleep on?
Answer. Laborers, said the witness, they slept in a long hall built for them. There were many of workers, so they had to squeeze while sleeping. Some workers had blankets and some not. So I believe that they had a proper living condition because ANCA provided blankets and provided food and meal for workers.
Were there beds in these halls, or did the workers sleep on the ground?
Witness, I gave my response already. There was a long hall and there were bamboo mats for workers to sleep on, and the roof was covered with a tent, or the roof was made out of leaves, tree leaves. There were no beds at that time. There were only mats made out of small trees. And as I stated earlier, the workers did not sleep on the ground, but they slept on the bamboo mats. During the daytime, workers could come to that hall and take shelter. I stated many times already.
You also said that the workers received decent food. Can you tell us how many meals the workers received each day and what rations of food were given to them in each meal?
as for food ration, workers had a 2-time meal per day. Sometimes they had a gruel, and on other occasions they had cooked rice. It depended on the situation or on the reality.
And where did people get water to drink at the first January Dam site?
Yeah.
Answer. When they needed water, they could drink from the river or the canals. In that time, there was only water from the streams, river, or from the well, so they could wash themselves with that water, and the water was also used to cook rice and to drink.
Where did workers at the site go to the bathroom when they had to relieve themselves?
Yeah.
Answer. There were no toilets. We had to relieve ourselves in the forest because the work site itself was located in the forest, so the toilets were not built.
Were there a lot of flies at the work site?
Yeah, mean.
Answer. Yes. There were flies, but not many of them. When we were clean and when there was hygiene, there were not many flies.
Madam Witness, I'd like to read to you an excerpt from your son's OCIJ interview, E3/35 at Khmer 00340-563 through 564, English 00346-150, French 00367-721 through 722. This is what your son testified in regards to his visit to the first January Dam worksite. Quote, I visited the long halls in which the mobile unit was staying, and I never saw or heard any people had been arrested and killed. But there were complaints about food shortages. There was an order from the committee to organize one group for cooking and another group for gathering food. Obviously, there were food shortages. I saw sick persons in each shelter and asked about their condition. They said that they did not have any medicines to take. I told those facts to my father, who then ordered the sectors to assign medics to help with the treatment of patients in each shelter. But the sectors said they did not have medicines. During the dam construction, I knew that there were patients dying because of the lack of medicines. End of quote. Is it correct, Madam Witness, as a result of your visits to the first January Dam and the visits of your husband and son, that you were aware of food and medicine shortages at the work site?
Yeah.
work site once in a while, so I did not have all the information. Sometimes I could see there was a decent living condition, and on other occasions perhaps there were shortages of the kinds that you mentioned, but I did not have that information at that time.
Do you know whether anyone from the party, either from the zone, sectors, or the center in Phnom Penh, was ever able to supply medicine to that work site other than traditional medicine that people have referred to as black pills or rabbit drop medicine? Do you know whether sufficient medicine was ever supplied to that work site?
Answer: I do not remember it on this point. Sometimes I did not know whether medicines were sent to the work sites. I have no idea.
I want to ask you now about another person who worked for your husband. Again, I'm not going to identify him by his name as he is a potential trial witness. Your Honors, this is pseudonym 2 TCW 896. This is an individual who states that he was your husband's nephew and driver, and that Kai Pok was his father's younger brother. With your leave, Mr. President, I'd like to do the same as with the prior statement, which is provided to the witness so that, and with the assistance of TPO, see if she can identify and knows this person. The document is E3/5264, E3/5264.
President, you can do so.
And Madam Witness, if you could either look at the name or it will be read to you, please make sure to not state the name of this person out loud. Do you know this person who indicates that he was your and your husband's nephew and someone who worked as a driver for your husband?
Answer: I do not recall the name. Actually, I knew that perhaps this individual may have been working with me at that time, and I do not know whether he was a driver for my husband.
Let me read to you one excerpt from this interview, E3/5264. The ERN references Khmer 00271 382 through 383, English 00283 343, and French 00333 976 through 977. this witness indicates that he drove your husband to the 1st January dam work site, in his words, regularly, almost every day. And this is the description that he provided of what he observed at the work site. Quote, "At that time, there were tens of thousands of people working there. They were working hard in harsh conditions, especially the women. When they were having a menstrual period, they didn't have any water to clean up themselves, so their buttocks were followed and surrounded by flies. At the work site, there were too many flies, which looked like bees." End of quote. Madam Witness, does this refresh your memories about this work site? Did you observe difficult conditions faced by the female workers at the site? And did you ever talk to your husband about those conditions?
There were many workers, and of course I couldn't go everywhere to see the workers. In some locations, there was sanitation, and of course there was plenty of water. And for some people who didn't do their relief properly, there were flies. And as I said, I usually only visited limited locations at the dams and not every work site at the work construction site, at the dam construction site. President and Mr. Deputy Co-Prosecutor, please hold on, and Judge Lavenge, you have the floor.
Oui, j'aimerais une précision.
Yes, I would like the prosecutor to clarify something. It appears that you are referring to the testimony of someone, and you say that person will perhaps be heard as a witness. It has not been ascertained, and we propose that this person may be dead, and the name of that person may be on the list of persons who are scheduled to appear before this chamber. If that is the case, that could change the situation slightly, probably.
Et il semble, je vais préciser,
And let me specify that this information is in document E303/3/2, or rather, says Judge, E307/3/2.
Judge Laverne, I'm not sure whether there's a translation issue. Are you saying that there is information that this witness may be deceased?
c'est ce que j'avais noté.
That is what I had noted. There is information to the effect that that person is deceased, for which reason that person wouldn't be proposed to appear before this chamber as a witness. So this raises questions as to the conditions under which that statement can be used.
I hadn't seen. We did a search to see if there was any information like that on the case file, and we didn't see that. For that reason, I've been using his pseudonym out of caution. Until it's confirmed whether this person is deceased, may I proceed continuing to not use him by his name? Madam Witness, a second a part of this person's interview, E35264, that I would like to ask you about, and this is at Khmer 00271 English 00283 French 00333 975 to 976. In describing the period in which he was driving your husband to the 1st January Dam worksite almost every day, he says that your husband was staying at a personal workplace called Office 71, which was located in your district, which he described as follows, quote, Office 71 was in Taprok Subdistrict, Chamkarlu District, Kampancham Province. There were 2 or 3 persons only working there to prepare meals for Kai Pak and his guests. Sometimes there were foreigners such as Japanese, Europeans, and Africans visiting that place. End of quote. He also testified that it was only a short drive, about 6 to 7 kilometers from that office, Office 71, to the 1st January Dam. Madam Witness, do you remember this workplace of your husband that was located in Taprok Commune, Chamkarlu?
Yeah.
The place which was called 71. I never go there, and I was not sure of its location either. It's a working office, and as I was a wife of my husband, I was not entitled to go there.
While we're talking about the offices in Chamkarlu district, can you tell us where the district office was located, where you worked?
The Chamkala district office was at Thanolbait in an area called Tuolo. It was located near a pagoda.
And where was the sector office located? Was it close to the district office?
The sector office was located near the national road, but the district office was far. It was on the way from Chamkala to Steng Trong, and from my estimation, the distance between the 2 offices was about 2 kilometers.
I want to read on the same subject a statement from the person you identified earlier, who was an in-law of yours, Bon, also used the alias Pos. And in his interview, E319/19.3.73, again, E319/19.3.73, ERN Khmer 00800 955, English 00841 966, French 00841 971 through 72, this is what he said about the district office. Quote, Sun's office was approximately 500 meters northeast of Un's office. She lived with her 5-year-old daughter named Neat, security guards, and about 10 servants. Sun was in charge of the district's political affairs, and I, as her deputy, was in charge of the military, and another member in charge of the economy. Those in charge of the district's security were Hap and Chun. The district security office was situated in Bos Kanar. Sun always held a meeting at her house with commune chiefs to give them orders and instructions for implementation. Question: Did Kai Pak live there with Sun? Answer: No, he came here only occasionally. He only spent the night when he came. End of quote. Madam Witness, this testimony from your in-law, is this an accurate description of the sector office and the organization set up in Chamkarlu district?
The description from the statement you read out is partially incorrect. For instance, I did not have any meeting with the chief of the security. I know where the security office was, but I did not attend any meeting with the chief. And there are also other parts which are incorrect. For instance, that I was in charge of political affairs at the district. I was not. As I said, after I delivered my baby, I did not attend the office regularly or went to the work site that often anymore.
There may have been a translation issue. The statement I read did not state that you met with the security chief. It only indicated that you participated in meetings with the commune chiefs. Is it correct that you did participate in meetings with the commune chiefs in Chamkarlu district?
Yes, with the commune chiefs, when they made report from that level on the building of the dams or canals or on the rice productions, I did meet with those chiefs of communes on the production matters and on the agriculture and on the work plan of 3 harvests per season, and that we should achieve 3 tons of rice yield per hectare.
I want to ask you now some questions about another event that you mentioned in your OCIJ interview. This is at E3 5294, Khmer 00348-833 through 34, English 00360-116, French 00367-809 through 810. You were asked about a visit of a female delegation from Laos, and this is what you said, quote, a delegation of Laotian ladies came to Chamkarlu district. At that time, Mrs. Ing Turit and I took the delegation on a tour. End of quote. My first question, did the tour on which you and Ing Turit took the female delegation from Laos, did that tour include a visit to the first January dam?
They came to visit Chamkale, and their tour was limited to the visit to the dams and the canals to see how people works at the work site and how much yields of rice produce that we achieve per month. And the area they visited was limited to Chamkale. As for the visit to the first January dam work site, it was organized by the other individuals, and I did not know how far they went with the tour to that site.
Just so I'm clear, do I understand that you were only with the delegation and Ing Turit when they were visiting places within Chamkarlu, and you did not go with them to the first January dam? Do I understand you correctly?
Yes, that is correct. As my role was limited to Chamkalu area, and I did not accompany them to the dam work site.
Mr. President, I'd like to provide to the witness two photographs, E3/3282 and E3/3283. These are photos that were identified as photographs of the visit of the Laotian delegation. With your leave, I'd like to show them to the witness to see if she can identify either the location or any of the people in the photograph.
President, yes, you may do so.
Madam Witness, I've given you, presented to you two photographs, E3/3282 and E3/3283. Can you look at those photographs and tell me whether you recognize the location of the photographs and whether you recognize any of the people in the photos?
The location in the photo is Tu Lo in Svai Tiep, and it was built from Bang Tiep to Bang Lavi Le. I do not recognize the people in the photo, and the photo is not that clear to me. I even find difficulty to identify to myself.
The locations you just described, can you tell us what district that was in?
It was in Chamkale district, and the dam work site was at Tu Lo along the way to Spur. That canal straight from Tu Lo to Spur, and on the left it was running to Laville village. That's all I know.
Can you take a close look at the photo, particularly the second photo, and tell us whether you see yourself anywhere in this photograph?
No, it is not clear to me, and I do not recognize anyone in this photo. I refer to the second photo. And the same thing I can say for the first photo in terms of people in that photo.
In your OCIJ interview, E35294, at Khmer 00348-834, English 00360-117, French 00367-810, you were asked whether you remembered other senior leaders coming to visit in addition to Ing Turit, and this is what you stated, I quote, "I remember Noon Chea came to visit the first January dam," end of quote. Can you tell us what you remember about Noon Chea's visit to the first January dam?
I cannot remember the details.
Do you remember whether Noon Chea came by himself or whether he came as part of a group of people?
I didn't know at the time that he visited the location or how many people actually went along with him.
Were you present when Noon Chea visited the first January dam, or did you just hear about the visit from someone?
I didn't go to the actual location where he visited, as I was busy with my young baby, and that is from my recollection of the event.
And who was it that told you, or how did you know that Noon Chea had gone to the first January dam worksite?
From what I know, the commune chief took some people to the work site, and later on when he returned, I was told that Noji visited the work site on that day.
Do you know whether when Noon Chea came to Kampancham on the first January dam, do you know whether he met with your husband?
I do not know, as I was at Chamkale and my husband was at Kampong Cham, and that is the truth.
What about Pol Pot, Madam Witness? Did Pol Pot come to visit the first January dam?
didn't know at all whether Pol Pot made a visit to the work site. Usually I heard of those visits through the commune chiefs, as they would tell me about it.
In your OCIJ interview, Madam Witness, you state that you were invited whenever a celebration event was held at the First January Dam. And you also make reference to a Chinese delegation that was led by Chen Yung-kui, who visited the dam during one of those inauguration ceremonies. Were you present at the inauguration ceremony that was attended by Chen Yung-kui and the Chinese delegation?
Yes, I attended that big ceremony. I was together with some female cadres. We also went to greet the Chinese delegation.
I'd like to read to you a report that was broadcast on the Democratic Kampuchea radio on the 7th of December 1977. This report is in document E3/1339, E3/1339 at English page 00168, 335 through 36, and it is only available in English at this time. The report, Madam Witness, is titled Chen Yung-kui Visits Central Region, 6 December, and it's dated the next day in 1977. I quote, "On the morning of 6 December, Comrade Chen Yung-kui, member of the Political Bureau of the Chinese Communist Party Central Committee, and other Chinese guests visited cotton and rice fields in Viel Spu in the company of comrades Pol Pot, Vorn Vet, Chun Chun, Minister of Public Health, Pok, Secretary of the CPK Central Region Committee, and On, Deputy Secretary." Continuing below. "In the afternoon, our fraternal Chinese guests visited rice fields in the Beret area and the Mui Makara Dam. Thousands of cadres and people filled with profound revolutionary brotherhood were also on hand to warmly welcome the visitors." End of quote. Does this refresh your recollection, Madam Witness, that at the First January Dam inauguration event attended by Chen Yung-kui, which you were at, that Pol Pot, Vorn Vet, your husband, and his deputy Ta On accompanied Chen Yung-kui?
I cannot remember that. I attended the opening inauguration ceremony, but I did not attend the closing ceremony of the work site. And I did not know how many senior people attending the ceremonies. And as I said earlier, usually I was informed by the commune chiefs about such event.
I just want to make sure I understand you correctly. Your testimony then is that the inauguration ceremony that you attended was the opening inauguration and not the closing inauguration that would have occurred at the end of 1977. Do I understand you correctly?
Yes, I'd like to clarify that I attended the opening inauguration ceremony, but from my recollection, I did not attend the closing ceremony when the Chinese delegation attended that ceremony. At that time, I was sick.
Mr. President, I'm about to change to a different subject if this is a convenient breaking time.
President, thank you. It is now time to have a break. We take a break now and resume at 1:30. Court officer, please arrange the waiting room for the witness and invite her as well as the TPO staff back into the courtroom at 1:30 this afternoon. Security personnel, you are instructed to take Kirsten Pond to the waiting room downstairs and have him return to attend the proceedings this afternoon before 1:30. The court is now in recess.